the 99% includes the police. This includes the city workers who are working and doing their job. The issue with these protesters is not against the police, and it's not against the city officials, and this isn't a rally to try and get people together to just cause a noise and just cause some a violation of city ordinance so that everybody can waste their money having police officers come arrest people. That's not what these are about. And I think if people would take the time to walk down and talk to these people, they would recognize that. So I'm offering that challenge and that recognition, just as individuals, to the peace officers and the city officials who are not understanding what the general consensus of these people are, and what we're representing. And what we're representing is that people are ready to come and redress their representatives with their grievances, and that's a process that takes time. That's not something that's just easily ironed out. That's not something that is just going to have one perfect leader to come out and represent that. And I think that's actually what one of the messages that's being portrayed here is, that in that system of trying to elect one single representative to represent our issues has failed us so far, essentially. And so what we're attempting to do is localize this sense of thinking, and localize this process of politics and democracy, and take the mystification out of it, and take all of this bogus that's been added into it, and take it out, and say, we're all people, we're here, this is our area, what can we bring together to the table to make these things all make sense, and make a actual thought out of this. So I'm asking for people from within the Occupy movement, from every city that's having issues with police officers and having issues with city officials of different sorts, to make your own video and send it to every single one of these people, if you can, and if you have representatives who are willing to come and sit down with peace officers and the officers who are involved with these protesters, and come to some sort of understanding that hey, we're all here trying to bring together the awareness of what's actually happening, which is that our country's monetary system is in the process of absolute failure. That's a mathematical fact. Our war politics and our war tactics are a whole nother issue that could be addressed in 100 different videos and 100 different conversations, but I'm not trying to go into that. What I am trying to say is that police are people. My brother-in-law Tim is a police officer in Colorado, and I've posted some videos in regards to some what I believe to be and witnessed to be wrongful arrests on the Occupy Coachella Valley protesters and the Riverside County protesters. And so I posted a few of these videos on Facebook, and my brother-in-law was responding to him, and we've had previous discussions about the Occupy movement and trying to come to an understanding with each other of what we've perceived it to be thus far. So in that discussion, I've felt that it'd be the most proactive thing for people who wish to actually make a difference, and the people who aren't out smashing windows and tagging up ATMs and vandalizing people's personal property, because that's not what peaceful, respectable protesters are doing it. I recognize that, and peaceful protesters recognize that, and yeah, people aren't out trying to vandalize people's private property. This acting within the law is acting within the most respect for it, and so we're out just trying to bring this conversation together. And if we can come to some sort of relationship with our local authorities and our local representatives who understand these same issues just like we do, if they stop and ask people around them within their community, that they'll recognize that immediately. And I think that if they understand that these protests are against systems that are operating to make them do things that they shouldn't be doing, and is a waste of their time and is a waste of their money as citizens and taxpayers too, and they can recognize that. Police officers aren't all brainwashed, power hungry, whatever. Police aren't incapable of comprehensive thought and compassion and empathy. I know some of the nicest people I know are police officers. In fact, Officer Jim Bain was a police officer in Indio for 30 years. I believe he was even up into the detective or chief detective or whatever his respective rank was. But up until I met him, I really had this kind of disconnection from really knowing the person behind the badge. And so as I've known Jim and continued to know Jim, who's just an incredible person and an extremely compassionate, loving man, a friend, a father, a husband, a grandfather, and he served his community well. And so I made this video because I think of people like him when I go and I record what I see happening down the street with these protesters, and I look at these officers, and I have to look at them in the same respects that I look at someone like Jim Bain, who served for 30 years in a city that's riddled with gang violence and human trafficking, drug trafficking, you name it, it all happens. And he's seen every single bit of it. So in respects to him, and in respects to police officers just like Jim Bain, and in respects to police officers like friends and families that I have who serve within the same county and the same department that I witnessed arrest some of these people down the street. And so I want to demystify the relationship between police and these protesters. And for the police who don't recognize these protesters as a legitimate movement, as a legitimate consensus, then I want to bring some clarity to that too. And I want to challenge anybody within the Occupy movement and any police officer who are not able to make these connections of what these people are for. I believe that any comprehensive peace officer can recognize somebody who's very peacefully protesting and someone who's out just trying to cause ruckus, if they understand what the general consensus of this protest is. And when police officers can understand that, when police officers can say, I understand what the 99% is. I understand that these people here protesting a unethical and absolutely absurd grab of power that's happened through the corporate lobbying and the basically corporations buying our government, and the revolving door that happens within that relationship that I'm not really trying to philosophize on, but it's that system that's being protested, and it's that system that's being brought to the forefront of these conversations. And so when police officers recognize that, And when they recognize that this is what these movements are about, they can use with their own discernment that we've entrusted them to use, to help these protests and help these demonstrators continue their movement to better their society, rather than be a counterproductive, just clash of interests, and the police never take the time to understand what the protesters are doing, and the protesters never take the time to actually speak to the police, and take the time to know them as people, and try to meet our perspectives like an equal sign instead of a plus. We want to go together with this. And so we want to bring this into reality. We want to bring this perspective into a full circle. We want to say that we are the 99%, and we need to be educated enough and mature enough to recognize police officers as doing their duty. And don't get me wrong, I don't believe a police officer should carry out a duty that is against his oath and that is unethical and goes against his sworn oath to uphold the Constitution. I don't believe a peace officer should do that, but that's why I'm here, because I don't want to just see people shouting at police officers, "Oh, you should just do what you're told." And truth be told, I asked those questions in that video, and I was very upset by what I saw. And in that moment, I meant what I said. Nobody could tell me what law they were operating under, because I know the truth. They were just told to do what they were told to do, and it's hard to question that sometimes, especially when you're put into a place of such scrutiny. That's a hard place to be in for any police officer, and I don't expect anybody to have a perfect answer. And so, in recognizing that these people are people too, and my friends and family who serve within these districts, I think that we as the Occupy movement, we as the 99%, need to outstretch our arms, our hands to these people, to the officials within our areas, and say, we understand that you're doing your job. And so we want you to do your job. We believe in our system. That's why we're here. We just don't believe in the corruption that's happened within it. And so help us further that cause as peace officers and as friends and as family. Help us better our society. Help us better our country. Help us better our lives. And in that faith that we have given into your own discernment to discern who needs to be served and who needs to be protected, take the time to research these issues that the Occupy movement is bringing to light. Research the fact that our Congress is paid off by corporate lobbyists who enact laws that help corporations, and the money is flowing freely out of the Federal Reserve, and we can just print whatever we want. And this is all true, and this is all fact, and these people are out here protesting because the system is literally breaking down and it's not working anymore. And so, just like economists have predicted for the past decade now plus, that this is going to be happening, this is what's happening. And so to the people who are police officers, these people are just responding to a failed system, and that system affects you as well. And any person capable of comprehensive thought and construction of thought understands this. So